are saying there is a secret initiation ritual to get into Hollywood?
Get really good at it. Down, sideways, or in circle. And then you just keep doing this again and again and again. At least twice a day. Stay with me. You got a girlfriend? It's a woozy. I want to. That's not why I do it. I do it because I need to. Bang, bang, bang.
Can't tell you how excited I am.
What's up, guys? Boy, Benny. Are we living in the end times? I'm not exactly sure, but the scriptures say this about those end times. Nothing is covered up that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. So whatever's hidden, hiding, or secret will be ripped open, and you will know what's actually going on. And it does seem like in our current era, there's quite a bit of people that are breaking and are turning against some very scary systems that use control the powerful, the wealthy, and are exposing all of it. I mean, some of it started with Donald Trump, right? Where Donald Trump had Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton at his wedding just a few years before he ran for president. And then Donald Trump just begins exposing sort of how things worked. When Donald Trump was running for president, he famously says Jeffrey Epstein is going to have a problem with that little island of his. This is like years before people even knew who Jeffrey Epstein was, right?
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
And so Donald Trump's one of those guys who is beginning to just slowly, the first layer of the onion, pull it back. Now there's so many people who are talking about the Kennedy assassination, Nixon's impeachment, the nature of the deep state, FISA won't be reauthorized. And it's not just in the political arena, even though that's what I tend to focus on here. It's also in the entertainment arena, where artist after artist, where actor after actor, where musician after musician is beginning to see their downfall or beginning to see the light and literally reveal everything. You can see that with Diddy, right? You can see that with the Nickelodeon series, All Quiet on the Set, right? HBO, wild Nickelodeon series about the predators who integrated, the true monstrous predators who integrated Nickelodeon to prey on children, children's channel. You're starting to see some real evil revealed here. And so it's worth following that trend. Matthew McConaughey has never struck me as a particularly bad person. He strikes me as a good person. He provides for his family. He loves his children. He's a family man. General positive energy about the guy. I don't know him, of course. Never met him. But seems to sort of be letting her rip, living his life. And a very honest speaker. Speaks very plainly and honestly and simply. And it makes him an actor that you like to watch because of those attributes. But he's also somebody that maybe is telling a message, sending us a message here, or telling us a little truth here. Let's read. Matthew McConaughey says there is an initiation process in Hollywood. Uh-oh. I mean, obviously, the subtext here that many people might jump to, most famously, is the initiation process of Harvey Weinstein. Maybe you've heard the tapes. I mean, they're horrible. If you've actually listened to the evidence and seen the evidence against Harvey Weinstein, you can see why he's going to spend the rest of his life behind bars. He was just found guilty of another rape conviction in L.A. I think the guy, he's in his 70s, and he has at least 40 years behind bars, and so he's going to die in prison. But this guy was just a monster. There was an initiation process with Harvey Weinstein, and the way it worked is if you wanted to be in the movies, well, you had to do some pretty dark and sick stuff. Obviously, he's an evil cretin that was able to exist inside of Hollywood, and nobody was able to call him out for a very long time because of his initiation process. The Obamas praised him at the White House, had him at the White House a bunch of times. I think the Clintons still have yet to actually rebuke Harvey Weinstein. I'm pretty certain that's true. So anyway, just shows you what kind of initiation processes we know of that people have faced and been found guilty of and are now going to spend the rest of their lives in prison for in Hollywood. So what kind of initiation process did Matthew McConaughey go through? This is just what springs to mind. Matthew McConaughey made his way to Hollywood 30 years ago, had some highs and lows along the way. In an interview, McConaughey says there's an initiation process in the industry, but he wouldn't have it any other way. I like anyone, but I've had my ups and downs. My star meter has been higher and lower. I've won Oscars, and I've been arrested playing the bongos naked. Was that part of the initiation process? I don't know. I mean, just really briefly here, at the Oscars, there was what many people called a humiliation process with a guy named John Cena, who had to go out and walk out on stage naked. So John Cena did what some are calling a humiliation process. We say weak men, hard times. The degradation of men continues. Many are saying that this is clearly a initiation process with the Illuminati, right? And so on, and so on, and so on. The degradation of men indeed continues. And so is Matthew McConaughey talking about that, playing the bongos naked? The actor continues, overall, I believe that there is an inherent goodwill for me, but it did not keep me from figuring out my own initiation into the industry. The Texas native went on to explain that after having skin in the Hollywood game, he wondered why nobody gave him tips and tricks earlier on. There's a lot of things you learn 10 years after being in Hollywood, and you go, well, why didn't they tell me that in year 2? Because there's an initiation process, he told the outlet. There it is. There just is. You can get tips, but you got to figure out the BS. Cut the wheat from the chaff along the way. Here he is speaking in, cut the wheat from the chaff, speaking in, biblical terms, quite frankly. Again, I like Matthew McConaughey. I don't see any reason to dislike him, I suppose, except for he's a part of the sort of Hollywood elite, and that makes you obviously automatically suspicious. But once again, as far as I know, and I don't know much, the guy's just he's a family man, shows up for his wife, kids, good husband, good father. Here's what he had to say about his initiation process in Hollywood and being arrested naked for playing the bongos.
Look, I've had an incredible amount of goodwill in my 30-something years in this industry. I, like anyone, have had my ups and downs. My star meter has been higher, my star meter has been lower. I have won Oscars, I've been arrested playing the bongos naked. I have had poor performances, I've had good showings, I've been better in some places and worse than others. Overall, I'd like to think, well, I know for a fact that overall, the industry, from media and people, I believe, have had an inherent goodwill for me. Not overly supportive. The industry did not keep me from figuring out my own initiation into the industry, which everybody in this industry has to initiate themselves. There's a lot of things you learn 10 years after being in Hollywood that you go, well, why didn't they tell me that in year 2? Because there's an initiation process. There just is. You gotta learn it on your own. No publicist can tell you, no producer can tell you, no director can tell you, nobody, you have to figure it out on your own. You can get tips, but you gotta figure out the BS, cut the wheat from the chaff along the way.
So that's the official, those are the comments, right? In context, right? Said in context. Arrested naked. What was this about? Was this some type of was this some type of John Cena initiation ceremony thing? Illuminati ceremony thing? Humiliation ceremony, right? Candace Owens sort of talking about this, right? Demonic rituals, Candace Owens says, for stuff like this. Matthew McConaughey was naked high and playing the bongos during infamous 1999 arrest. I was banging away on my bliss, Oscar winner writes in book. So, what is this? Matthew McConaughey was naked playing the bongos and high on marijuana when he was arrested in his home by multiple police officers, the actor says. The Oscar winner's nude 1999 arrest for disturbing the peace has gone down in tabloid infamy. McConaughey finally setting the record straight. He describes the night in question as a jam session, with the star deciding to undress, open up his windows, and smoke a bowl while listening to the beautiful African melody beats play through the home speakers. What I didn't know was that while I was banging away in my bliss, 2 Austin policemen also thought that it was time to barge into my house unannounced, wrestle me to the ground with night 6, handcuff me, and pin me to the floor. He adds that during the arrest, writing, "F you, mother effer, you broke into my house, F yeah, I resisted." So maybe it just sounds like weed-induced stupidity, maybe, and vibing, and not an actual initiation ceremony. But nonetheless, Like there's this, creepy stuff abounds all throughout Hollywood, and you got to ask the question, like, why do they do this kind of stuff, right? You see it all over the place. Why, right? Why? Candace Owens says, I truly cannot fathom how the media has brainwashed me and some black Americans in believing that I am the enemy. Open your eyes. Well, there is somebody who's had open eyes, and we've been sort of paying attention to this. This is a former Hollywood, or I guess current Hollywood comedian, right? Big time superstar named Cat Williams, who has talked about his initiation ceremony into the Illuminati. Now, I'll just take it at face value. We'll play the clip. It's gone thermonuclear viral. But ladies and gentlemen, this is, I guess, worth listening to, considering the current era of lies being exposed.
That's just what time it is. 2024, folks.
Are you related to Luda?
No. So there was a crossroads where we were both invited to an Illuminati thing, and it had to be one or the other of us, and decisions had to be made. So it was both of us. We were equal. One of us had to cut off all their hair and couldn't do the sideburn thing no more with the points. And the next person, they said, was going to get $200 million because they were going to pay him $10 million a movie to do 20 movies. And that's how the conversation happened. One of those persons turned out to be Ludacris, and the other person turned out to be Cat Williams. Now, one person ended up with a light-skinned, ugly-faced wife that's never done a... Remember I told you that if I say that, it applied to 7 people?
Yes.
It's part of what they give you. Okay? I didn't get it. I'm not mad about it.
How much money they give? 200?
Sir, Fast and Furious is on what number right
10.
now?
200 million. I might need to get me one of them old women look the same.
That's what they all end up saying at the end of the day. Kevin told you he wasn't going to wear no dress until they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. And what did he say after he wore it? I made my own decision. Duh. But you didn't make it before they brought it up, did you? It's okay. It's all right.
You have a lot of politics.
Never talk about it. I'm not that controversial.
Where are we go? Where are we headed, Cat?
This is sad. We've never been here before. We've never been at the point where neither option is good for us in real life.
No.
This is a different conversation. This is, would you rather go back with your ex, or would you rather go back with the person before them?
Both bad options.
Both bad options. Like, one guy can barely put his sentences together, and the other guy will put sentences together from whatever he's read or whoever told him. Like,
but how do we